ki jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhanju ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pari Brajaka Acharya Ashtatara Sata Shri Srimati Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pari Brajaka Acharya Ashtatara Sata Shri Srimati Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class. Dandavat. Pandeyam Shri Guru Shri Chaitanya Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidangscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. So continuing in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is the 6th chapter. The Lord meets Raghunath Das Goswami. So we're going back to text number 193 of this chapter, which we read yesterday. And Mahaprabhu is... So Raghunath Das Goswami has just come from his family home. And, his father, his uncle, they're very good personalities, always giving in charity to the Vaishnavas, and, very much honoring Mahaprabhu. But the Lord is saying, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the mercy of Lord Krishna is stronger than anything else. Therefore, the Lord has delivered you from the ditch of material life, which is like a hole into which people pass stool. Raghunatha mane kahe Krishna nahi jane, tava kripa kadila ama e ami mani. Raghunathas answered within his mind, I do not know who Krishna is. I simply know that your mercy, O my Lord, has saved me from my family life. Prabhu kahena tomar apita jeta dui jane Chakravarti sambande hama ajikari mane. The Lord continued, your father and his elder brother are both related as brothers to my grandfather, Nilambar Chakravarti. Therefore I consider them my grandfathers. Nilambar Chakravarti, the grandfather of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was very intimately related to Raghunath Das' father and uncle. Nilambar Chakravarti used to call them his younger brothers because both of them were very much devoted to the Brahmins and were very respectable gentlemen. Similarly, they used to call him Dada Chakravarti, addressing him as the elder brother Brahmin. Raghunath Das, however, was almost the same age as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Generally, a grandchild may joke about his grandfather. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took advantage of the relationship between his grandfather and Raghunath Das's father and uncle to speak in a joking way. Chakravarti raduhe hai pratri rupadas ataeva tarayami kari parihas. Since your father and his elder brother are younger brothers of Nilambar Chakravarti, I may joke about them in this way, saying that their home is like a hole in which somebody will pass through. Tomara bapa jeta bishaya bishtagar terakida. Sukakari mane bishaya bishara mahapida. My dear Raghunath Das, your father and his elder brother are just like worms in stool in the ditch of material enjoyment. For the great disease of the poison of material enjoyment is what they consider happiness. When a man is attached to material enjoyment, he is attached to many miserable conditions. Right? Everybody will agree with this.
I don't agree, but I understand.
But nevertheless, he accepts a condemned position as one of happiness. Sense enjoyment is so strong for such a person that he cannot give it up, just exactly as a worm in stool cannot give up the stool. From the spiritual point of view, when a person is too absorbed in material enjoyment, he is exactly like a worm in stool. Although such a person is utterly miserable to the eyes of liberated souls, the materialistic enjoyer is greatly attached to it. And we can all relate with this. Yadyati brahmanyakare brahmanera sahaya shuddha vaishnavanahi hai vaishnavera praya. Although your father and uncle are charitable to Brahmins and greatly help them, they are nevertheless not pure Vaishnavas. However, they are almost like Vaishnavas. As stated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya, some people, usually very rich men, dress like Vaishnavas and give charity to Brahmins. They are attached to deity worship, but because of their attachment to material enjoyment, they cannot be pure Vaishnavas. Anyabilasita shunyam jnana karma janavritam. The pure Vaishnava has no desire for material enjoyment. That is the basic qualification of a pure Vaishnava. There are men, especially rich men, who regularly worship the deity, give charity to the Brahmins, and are pious in every respect, but they cannot be pure Vaishnavas. So Srila Guru Maharaj is saying that even the demigods cannot generally be considered pure Vaishnavas, even though they're so pious. Despite their outward show of Vaishnavism and charity, their inner desires to enjoy a higher standard of material life. Raghunath Das's father Govardhan and uncle Hiranyadas were both very charitable to Brahmins. Indeed, the Brahmins from the Gaudiya district were practically dependent upon them. Thus they were accepted as very pious gentlemen. However, they presented themselves as Vaishnavas to the eyes of the people in general, although from a purely spiritual point of view, they were ordinary human beings and not pure Vaishnavas. In other words, they were Kanishta Adhikaris. Who knows what Kanishta Adhikari means?
Beginner stage Vaishnava. Beginner stage.
Yes, a beginner stage. He worships the deity, but he does not very much understand the Vaishnava or the Vaishnava existence. In other words, they were Kanishta Adhikaris, for they were ignorant of the higher Vaishnava regulated principles. Nevertheless, they could not be called Bishayis or blind materialistic enjoyers. Tatapi Bishayera Swabhava Kare Maha Anda Se Karma Karaya Jate Hai Baba Banda. Those who are attached to materialistic life and are blind to spiritual life must act in such a way that they are bound to repeat birth and death by the actions and reactions of their activities.
Can I ask a question? How does someone know if they've like reached out of like that beginner stage? Like, is there like a determination for that, or?
That is the Madhyama. After Kanishta is Madhyama stage.
How does one get
Recognize those stages.
Yeah.
Well, Guru Maharaj is saying that the Kanishta Adhikari, he's not chanting, his intention is not chanting the name for the sake of Krishna. But the Madhyama Adhikari, he's he's seeing, I mean, his activities, whatever he's doing, he's seeing it in relation to the Lord. But whatever he's doing, whatever he has to do in his life, he's seeing that in relationship to the Lord. He's not seeing the Lord is just living in the temple, and I go to the temple, and then I give this and that, and then I have my other life. That it has nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? So the Majjhima Adhikari is he's seeing that his whole life is about Krishna, and he also recognizes the Vaishnavas as worshipable. Not that only the deity is worshipable. He's very much connected with the Vaishnavas. And of course he has his Vaishnava guru and things like that. There's quite a big difference there. There's a very nice class about this, really describing all these stages and from different points of view also. So, and I can give it to you. I can send it to you. I have it. Yeah, it's a really nice thing to think about. Hena bishaya haite Krishna udari latoma tahana na jaya Krishna kripara mahima. By his own free will, Lord Krishna has delivered you from a condemned materialistic life. Therefore, the glories of Lord Krishna's causeless mercy cannot be expressed. Purport: in the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Karmani nirdhati kintu jabakti bhajam. Lord Krishna is so merciful that he can stop the reactions of karma for his devotee. Everyone, from the small insect called Indragopa up to Indra himself, the king of heaven, is bound by the reactions of fruitive activities. So it's hard for us to realize who are, we have been in this mundane atmosphere and consciousness is our own fault for a very long time. So it's hard for us to realize that every single thing that we take, we have to pay for. It's not ours. It's like when we walk into some grocery store. I like that, I'm taking that. No, you have to pay for it. So everything has payment. So there's action and reaction, and it just goes on forever. And then, there's just so many things. And then without a pure intention, if we perform religious activities in order to mitigate, or some sacrifice, in order to mitigate the reactions. But if that is done with impure consciousness and not consciousness that I want now to become a pure devotee of the Lord, then it doesn't take one out of mundane consciousness at all. It's continuing. So mundane consciousness means consciousness that is mundane. That is the material world. It's a matter of intention and consciousness. So here it is saying, but from Indra to the tiniest insect, everyone is in that plane of action and reaction. Everybody. But how wonderful that by bhakti bhajan, even the root of that is removed. It will never grow again. And that is why, even if a devotee makes a mistake or commits some wrong in the course of trying to perform devotional service, the prayaschitta is to continue to try to perform devotional service. Because otherwise there's no purification. There's no hope. It is only bhakti bhajan that can remove the root of mundane life. Is that clear? Yeah. So this is what this verse is about. Yastrindagopa atavendra maho sakarma bandhanu rupa palapajjana matanoti karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajan govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Everyone, whether an insect or the king of heaven, is entangled and bound by the actions and reactions of his karma. However, when one becomes a pure devotee, free from material desires and from bondage to karma, jnana, and yoga, one is freed from material actions and reactions by the causeless mercy of Krishna. One cannot express sufficient gratitude for Krishna for being freed from the materialistic way of life. Raghunate rakshinata malinya dekhiya swarupere kahena prabhu kripardrachittahanya. Seeing Raghunath as skinny and dirty because of having traveled for 12 days and fasting, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his heart melting due to his causeless mercy, spoke to Swarup Damodar. Ei Raghunate amisani pinutmare putra britya rupe tumikara angikare. My dear Swarup, he said, I entrust this Raghunath Das to you. Please accept him as your son or servant. So immediately Raghunath Das Goswami was entrusted to the care of Swarup Damodar. So this is extremely significant. Because Swarup Damodar's heart and the heart of Mahaprabhu are practically the same heart. So who is taking us? That is a very significant thing. Who we are connected with, or whom we are connected with. Tina Raghunatha Namahaya Maragane Swarupera Raghu Ajihaite Iharaname. There are now 3 Raghunaths among my associates. From this day forward, this Raghunath should be known as the Raghu of Swarup Damodar. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had 3 Raghus amongst his associates: Vaidya Raghunath, Bhatta Raghunath, and Das Raghunath. And 2 of those, Raghunath Bhatta and Raghunath Das, are among the 6 Goswamis. Raghunath became celebrated as the Raghunath of Swarup. Atakahi Raghunatera hasta tarila Swarupera haste tare samarpanna kaila. Saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu grasped the hand of Raghunath Das and entrusted him to the hand of Swarup Damodar Goswami. No mistake here. So in a joking way, but with some very good truth, Mahaprabhu is saying these things about the father and uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami. His father's name was Govardhan and his uncle's name was Hiranya. Very wealthy people, beyond what we can think about now. Like Indra. They were so wealthy. And Raghunath Das Goswami, because of social tradition, was married to a girl who was as beautiful as an apsara of heaven. But he had not only no attraction, he just wanted to get out of there. So Mahaprabhu is telling the truth that we must become unalloyed devotees of the Lord, and not only pious persons who have some faith in the Lord, but we must also continue in our spiritual progress. We must. And Guru Maharaj, I was listening to a talk of Gurudev last night, and Gurudev said, Guru Maharaj said, burn your boat. Initiation means I've burnt my boat. I have no way to go back. There's no going back. Or as they say in the West, we burned our bridges. There's no way back. So we must be successful. We must continue on, and we must be successful. And one of the most wonderful things is always listening or reading, whatever is our more strong propensity, but always hearing. This is a very purifying thing. And, to understand properly what we're doing. Because just because we we've started something doesn't mean that we necessarily understand it very well. So we want to continue with this understanding. Keep going and going deeper and more pure understanding as we are able by the grace of Guru and Gauranga. Any questions from the kitchen? Swarukahe Mahaprabhu Raje Agyahaila Atakahi Raghunate Puna Alingila. Swarup Damodar Goswami accepted Raghunath Das, saying, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whatever you order is accepted. He then embraced Raghunath Das again. Chaitanya Bhakta Vatsalya Kahite Napari Govindere Kahe Raghunate Doyakari. I cannot properly express the affection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his devotees. Being merciful toward Raghunath Das, the Lord spoke as follows to Govinda. Patehiya karyache bahuta langana katatina kara ihara balas santarpana. On the way, Raghunath Das has fasted and undergone hardships for so many days. Therefore, take good care of him for some days, so that he may eat to his satisfaction. Everybody know who Govinda is?
The servant of Mahaprabhu.
Yes. Yes. Personal servant of Mahaprabhu. And godbrother also. So Mahaprabhu did not want to accept Govinda's servant. But it was the order of Ishwar Puri to him, to Govinda, you go and serve Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu said, what shall I do? I don't want to accept this service from my godbrother, but it is the order of my guru. So, taking instruction, taking advice, I think it was from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, said, oh, no, you must accept this. Raghunate kahe jaha kara sindhu snan, Jagannatha dekhi ashi karaha bojan. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das, go bathe in the sea, then see Lord Jagannath in the temple and return here to take your meal. Atebali Prabhu Madhya Nakarite Utila Raghunath Das Shababhaktere Milila. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and went to perform his midday duties, and Raghunath met all the devotees present. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and went to perform his midday duties, meaning bathing and all these things. And Raghunath met all the devotees present. Raghunate Prabhura Kripadeki Bhakta Gana Bishmita Hanya Kareta Rabhagya Prasangsana. Prasangsana means to praise. And Bishmita means struck with wonder. Having seen the causeless mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu upon Raghunath Das, all the devotees, struck with wonder, praised his good fortune. Raghunatha Samudre Jaha Snana Karila Jagannatha Deki Puna Govinda Pasha Aila. Raghunath Das took his bath in the sea and saw Lord Jagannath. Then he returned to Govinda, the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhura Avashishta Patra Govinda Tare Dila Anandita Hanya Raghunatha Prasada Paila. Govinda offered him a plate with the remnants of food left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Raghunath Das accepted the prasadam with great happiness. E mata rahe tera swarupa charane Govinda prasada tare dila panchadine. Raghunath Das stayed under the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Govinda supplied him remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's food for 5 days. Aradina haite pushpa anjali dekhiya Singhadware kadarahe bhikshara lagila. Beginning from the 6th day, Raghunath Das would stand at the gate known as the Singhadwar to beg alms after the Pushpanjali ceremony, in which flowers are offered to the Lord. Jagannatera seva kajata bishai hiragana seva shari ratriye kare grihete gamana. After finishing their prescribed duties, many servants of the many servants of Lord Jagannath, who are known as the Bishais, return home at night. Singhadware anarti vaishnave dekiya pashari ratani anadena kripata karila. If they see a Vaishnava standing at the Singhadwar begging alms, out of mercy they arrange with the shopkeepers to give him something to eat. So the shopkeepers are selling Mahaprasadam. And so they're telling him, oh, give him some. He's begging, he's a Vaishnava. You give him some. So he would stand there. Raghunath Das Goswami would stand at the Singhadwar gate, and that is how he had his prasadam. He would just stand there at one time of the day, and some prasadam would come to him. Emata sarvakala ache vyavahara niskinchana bhakta kada haya singhadwara. It is a custom for all time that a devotee who has no other means of support stands at the Singhadwar gate to receive alms from the servants, from the servants of Jagannath. So, it is a very good example. Raghunath Das Goswami was not expecting to be supported by anyone. He's thinking that I will support I want to do my service and not give any difficulty to anyone. So, we can't. So Raghunath Das Goswami's example is extremely exalted. Not that anyone is going to imitate him, but the mood and attitude that we hear is very uplifting for us, and gives a great ideal for us to, like the sun. What was that, Didi? Oh, sorry. Sarvadina karena Vaishnava nama sankirtana swachande karena Jagannatha darashana. A completely dependent Vaishnava thus chants the holy name of the Lord all day and sees Lord Jagannath with full freedom. So it's a completely dependent Vaishnava thus chants the holy name of the Lord all day and sees Lord Jagannath with full freedom. So he's not doing anything else for his livelihood. He's simply free, very free. He just takes a little prasadam, all day long is chanting the holy name, and he freely goes to see the Lord. So this is, again, an extremely wonderful ideal, an example. Raghunath Das Goswami's vairagya, or his renunciation in devotion, all of the 6 Goswamis had this characteristic of extreme renunciation. It was just their very nature. They didn't even have to work separately to do that. It wasn't, Keha chatre magi kai, deva kichupai, keha ratre bhiksha lagi singhadware rai. It is the custom for some Vaishnavas to beg from the charity booths and eat whatever they obtain, whereas others might stand at the Singhadwar gate begging alms from the servants. Mahaprabhura bhakta ganera vairagya pradhana jahadeki prita hanya gauda bhagavan. Renunciation is the basic principle sustaining the lives of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. Seeing this renunciation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is extremely satisfied. Anyone, whether an ordinary materialistic person or a pure devotee, can understand the behavior of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees if he studies it minutely. One will thus find that the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are not at all attached to any kind of material enjoyment. They have completely given up sense enjoyment to engage fully in the service of Lord Sri Krishna and dedicate their lives and souls to serving Krishna without material desires. So that does not mean that one does not eat. Guru Maharaj said we are not into fasting. We are into prasadam. Means we are into service. We want to take what is sufficient prasadam to continue with our seva. But these are very exalted personalities, and they just take whatever's coming as being the Lord's grace. Maybe something, maybe nothing. They have their different kind of the whole atmosphere, the whole existence of these great Vaishnavas is very high, and we worship that. And if that type of thing will come into the heart of a devotee, like genuinely and not artificially, then very wonderful. Because their devotional service is free from material desires, it is unimpeded by material circumstances. Whatever the circumstances is, they're seeing Krishna there. So what is the material world? Very important to understand that fine point. Although ordinary men have great difficulty understanding this attitude of the devotees, it is greatly appreciated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if we really want freedom, then it has to be absolute. Freedom in all places, all circumstances, all time, all space, and for all living beings is in this Sharanagati. What comes is the Lord's grace. And we are practicing that. It is not that we are going to do something artificial, but practicing Sharanagati is not artificial. But how this will come, how this will transform our lives, how the realization of things will come, that is, of course, up to the Lord. Prabhure Govinda Kahi Raghunatha Prasada Nalaya Rache Singhadware Kadahanya Magi Kaya. Govinda said to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das no longer takes prasadam here. Now he stands at the Singhadwar where he begs some alms to eat. Shunitu Ishtahanya Prabhu Kahi Tela Gila Bala Kaila Vairagira Dharma Acharila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he was greatly satisfied. Raghunath Das has done well, he said. He has acted suitably for a person in the renounced order. So we'll stop here for today. And we'll go back to this part tomorrow. These are fine points, and everything will be clearer and clearer. Do you have one of these? I have here. I don't know why I even asked you that. I know you weren't sitting there with that. But I don't, actually. I thought that was in here, but it's not.
Check on top of the bookshelf.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki jai. Srila Om Vishnupade Si Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. So we're continuing to try to study Upadesamrita. Oh, Jagannathastakam. Haridev Prabhu, where are the copies of the Upadesamrita?
They are where the streaming setups is.
Okay, we found it.
Lower shelf.
Thank you.
Can I ask an off-topic question really quick?
Yeah.
With the Jagannath, there's like in a lot of places they have like Lord Jagannath, like the I don't know how to put this. Like he has like the blackish skin. They have one where there's like a pinkish skin, and then there's another one with like a yellowish. Is there what is that? Is there like a difference or?
You don't, I mean, yeah. Lord Jagannath in Puri is what Lord Jagannath looks like.
It's so like where he has like the blackish like complexion and okay. That's like, where did the other two forms come from?
Who, Lord Balaram and Lady Subhadra.
Okay, that's
Haha.
okay.
Lord Balaram is white, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Ananta, Shesha here.
Okay.
And that is Lord Baladev, and then Lady Subhadra is in the center. She is the sister.
Okay.
In Dwarka Lila.
Mm-hmm.
In Dwarka Lila, Subhadra is there. Lady Subhadra, and she's the sister of Krishna and Balaram.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So this is a very particular type of Leela. Very, very particular. Most lovely, wonderful. Sri Upadesamrita ki jai. So we'll just chant together all the verses, including verse 7, which we're reading about right now. And very many things to think about here. Vacho, we can chant these together if you want. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udara pasta vegam, etan vegam yo visheta dhira, sarvam apimam prativim sasisyat. So these are the 6 urges. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangaschaloyam cha sadbir bhaktir binashati. These are the 6 things which destroy devotion. Utsahan nishchayadaya tat karma pravartanat Sangatyagat sato vritte sadbir bhakti prasidyati. And these are the things which nourish and promote devotion. Dadati pratigrahnati guhyam makyati prichati bhunkte bojayate chaiva sadvidam pritilakshanam. These are the exchanges of love between the devotees. And we're seeing these all the time in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishneti asya giritam manasadhyeta dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham shushushaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya nindati shunya hridamit vishita sangalabdya. These are the different relationships which we will have with different persons who are chanting the name of Krishna. And this also goes along a little bit with your question, Ananya. Dishtai svabhava janiter vapishascha doshe na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pasyet gangam basam nakula buddha Buddha-pena panker brahmadravatvam apakachati niratarmai. So this is number 6. Not to see, and I heard class this morning, Srila Guru Maharaj talking about this very, very much, about how the greatest atonement for a Vaishnava who has done some wrong is to discontinue that wrong behavior and continue in his devotional practice. Because devotional practice is the supreme purifier. So not to stop that, not to be punished, you can't do this anymore. No, not that. So we continue in our spiritual life and take shelter more and more of the Lord. Okay, now number 7. Shri Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Larochikanu Kinvadaran Anudinam Kalusai Vajusta Swadvikramad Bhavati Tad Gadamula Hantri. And this is about comparing the name of the Lord to sugar candy, which tastes very bitter if one has jaundice. But the sugar candy cures the jaundice and at the same time enables that person to taste the sweetness of it. So now we are like, the holy name of the Lord is not the sweetness we're necessarily appreciating, but we must go on chanting in some kind of way, obedient to the Lord's order and Mahaprabhu's and Gurudev's order. However, we are trying to understand what is the holy name and what am I doing. There's a difference. Okay, we're on the bottom of page 173 with regard to this verse. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. These are his particular commentaries that we've been reading. And Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Ki Jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami has written, Jayati Jayati Namananda Rupang Murare Viramita Nitya Dharma Dhyana Pujari Yatnam Katamapi Sakrid Atam Muktidam Praninam Yat Paramam Amritamekam Jivanam Bhushanam Me. May the ecstasy coming from taking the Lord, the holy name, be victorious. Namananda means the ecstasy that is coming out of the service of the name. May that be victorious over all the tendencies found in the world. Why? Every tendency will be, every inauspicious thing will be completely destroyed and permanently destroyed. So may that be victorious. Let's not get all excited about anything less than that. May the name, may the Namamrita, may that be the victorious over the world and cure every difficulty. May it prevail and have the greatest influence over everything. Viramita Nija Dharma Dhyana Pujari Yatnam. Nija Dharma means the ecstasy coming out of the holy name will paralyze all of our other duties, all of our duties in every phase of life, even all of our holy and pious karma as well. Dhyana, our conscious movement and attempts at meditation will be paralyzed. Puja, our serving temperament may also become so intense in connection with the holy name that we may be made to forget for the moment even our attempts at archan, puja, reverent offerings to the Lord. So this may sound very confusing because we see that Mahaprabhu constantly visited all of the temples and danced before the deity. But this is not puja. This is bhajan. This is direct service to the Lord. There's no archan or any of that. The Lord did not worship Lord Jagannath in that way. Puja means we're offering through mantra, offering many things. And it is very important for us to awaken our actual love for the Lord who has come in the form of the deity. But we have to understand what that is. So
when doing things like arti,
Jai Mahaprabhu, Jai.
When doing things like arti, is that puja or is that bhajan?
That's puja for us.
Okay.
But with the aim of bhajan.
Okay.
So we have to understand that we are in a position where puja is going to be very favorable. The practice of regular offerings to the Lord, this is very favorable for us. We should never give up what is favorable. But it may transform into full bhajan, full like personal, spontaneous affection for the Lord. But now we're in a practicing stage.
Okay.
So that that verse when he's saying, what is the destroyer of devotion? One of them is being too attached or detached. Detached means, giving up something which I should do at my stage.
And just like not caring.
And not do it. And the other is thinking it is the ultimate goal of what I'm doing. And not realizing that it is a means. It is helpful for my becoming. So one day, that is very important. Another day, as we're just reading here, he may forget that because his relationship with the Lord is much deeper than the practice of this is the time for this and that or whatever it is.
Okay, so like puja.
But we're not going to imitate that.
So puja is more of like a regulated kind of like schedule type of thing.
Yes. But we don't want to keep it on that level.
Yes.
We want to give attentive care to what we're doing. And not go, okay, who's doing the thing? Who's doing that? This can become offensive, actually. Although there is something to, that is part of our management of things, and no doubt. But we want to always remember who we're dealing with here. And not let it become some kind of mechanistic thing.
Like a job schedule, like it shouldn't be.
Like a job schedule. Although the schedules are there and the
Exactly.
manager has to manage. But still we want to remember the internal thing, that the Lord has come to accept. He is Bhavagrahi Janardhan. He's eating affection. He doesn't need our food. He doesn't need anything from us. But he is attracted to affection. So affection is what we are trying to cultivate. So these are all very fine points. We don't want to go too far this way, too far that way. We want the absolute and the relative at any particular stage have to be in a balanced condition. Not giving up something necessary for us, and at the same time not holding on to that as though it's the ultimate thing. Sometimes we forget what it is, why it is we're doing what we're doing. What is it that I'm really trying to do? Guru Maharaj said surrender has to be at the basis of every service. Or it can be completely mundane. But surrender, now wait a minute, I'm not giving myself. You're not actually God. You're not actually, you don't own me. Everything that comes to me, even though I say you are the cause of all causes, it's not really true. I don't really believe that. You can't cause something to happen to me that I don't like. So surrender, without surrender, we're in a wrong mentality. So always we're practicing at the basis of everything is Sharanagati. So Maya, I was saying this to a friend yesterday, Guru Maharaj is saying Maya is an almost non-existent thing, and that sounds just wrong. It certainly is existing. He's saying almost not existing, meaning it's not like a thing. It's not like an object. It is a misunderstanding. So it is so difficult, so fine. It is a very fine, it's gross. But we have to understand that it is my misperception of reality. Guru Maharaj said, Swarup Shakti, that's what's real. But Maya is covering my eyes. Because why? Because I want my eyes covered. I don't want to see the Lord. I don't want that I'm not the center of my own existence. I don't want that. So we can go through, but if we don't address this problem, then our progress may be very slow. And we'll get sick of it too. We get tired of doing the same old thing day after day. The life of devotion is Sharanagati. That's what we're singing every single morning. Shikshaya, Sharanagati, Bhakatera Prana. It is the life of the devotee and devotion and practice and everything. So all these things have to be very carefully looked at and discussed. Nija Dharma. Oh, so he may forget for a moment his puja. He may forget being overwhelmed by the holy name. But we're not going to imitate that. Oh, well, I was overwhelmed with the holy name, so I didn't do this. Really? And I was kind of, flipping through YouTube at the same time. Yutamapi sakrit atam muktidam praninam yat. If in any way we can come into the holy touch of the holy name, katamapi, if in any way we are blessed with a slight connection with the holy name, then liberation from all undesirable things is at once affected. The holy name is so disinfecting in character. You think, really? How is that possible? But look at darkness. One light and all the darkness is gone. Truth, divine truth, the absolute reality, the Lord himself, he cannot dispel ignorance. He cannot dispel misunderstanding, maya, illusion. Absolutely. But dikshasti che pranadibhischa bhajantamisham, from the Upadesamrita, even greater, we will offer obeisances to those who have taken diksha and are serving the Lord. So one name without offense will dissipate all material life. But that will not give entrance into the divine plane. So we are honoring them in the mind, those who have chanted some way, namabas, not namaparad, but one who has actually taken initiation and is worshiping the Lord. We offer obeisances to that person. That's one of the Upadesamrita verses we just read. So all these things are really important to understand. So we would think, well, I've never taken the pure name of the Lord. So what's my situation? But what Guru Maharaj has explained is that means even namabhas, but not namaparad. We have the 10 offenses against the holy name. Committing them, that is namaparad. So we are trying very carefully not to do that. And then namabhas may come, but it is a relatively innocent thing. But the pure name is anyabilasita shunyam. Okay, keep going. Paramamritam ekam jivanam bhushanam me. We will feel then that the holy name is sustaining our life. That the holy name is our very life, those great souls. They don't think of life other than their connection with the holy name. Because they see the truth. Sustainer and giver of our life, Bhushanam, and the name Vaikuntanam, is not only our life, but also our decoration and vilas. It is our play, it is our activity. It's all in relation to the name. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Nikila Shrutimoli Ratnamala Duti Nirajita Pada Pankajanta Ai Mukta Kulerupas upasyamanam paritastam harinama sangshrayami. Rupa Goswami Prabhu's approach toward the greatness of the name, the high holy nature of the name is such. Very beautiful. So any questions? Because I'd like to start with this verse tomorrow or Monday, because this is really a beautiful verse. And Guru Maharaj, we can actually have a few minutes here. Nikhila Shruti Moli Ratna Mala Jyuti. We cannot find in the ordinary Shrutis mention and praise of the holy name, but in the finest and highest Shrutis we do. Shruti means Veda, revealed truth, and in the finest and highest revelation we find that they intend to praise the holy name, the holy sound aspect of the Lord. So the ordinary Shrutis, which are dealing with, kama, artha, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, they're not so much concerned about the holy name. And in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, later on, we will read this about the different discussions among the scriptures, personified. They are discussing about the holy name, and it is a wonderful conversation. Anyway, I won't get into it right now. But Shruti means Veda, revealed truth, and in the finest and highest revelation, we find that they intend to praise what? The holy name. The holy sound aspect of the Lord. Such expressions are considered to be the highest amongst the revealed truth. The highest quality of revealed truth is seen only as nirajita, as if with its light performing arti, a lamp offering, and trying to show the holy figure of the Lord. So the highest scriptures are like a lamp, revealing, like the lamp. Of course, here we have lights also. But in India, at night, in the villages, we see that they're holding a big lamp so that everyone can see the Lord, because it's dark. Now, maybe not. Some villages probably still. Padapankajanta, the highest type of revealed truth, is only trying to show us, to connect us with the Padapankajanta, the lowest portion of the holy figure of the name, the Pada, the feet. Where should we begin? Our proper beginning will be with the holy feet. If we try to focus on the other parts of the Lord, that will be somewhat misguided. Some illusion will come in there. The proper beginning must be with the lowest portion. Then gradually we shall go up, and that will be the healthy line of progress. Any questions at all? I know I'm talking a lot this morning, but it's quite exciting. There are so many things that we're all just trying to understand these things and to share what we've heard, because it's very exciting. It's very exciting when we hear something and then we think, oh, I have been really wrong in my understanding about this point all this time. These are going to be gradual things. I'm just going to repeat one thing I heard yesterday. Srila Guru Maharaj said, to come to the plane where you feel yourself lower than a blade of grass, to come to that platform, mountains will have to be crossed, and oceans will have to be crossed. Planets will have to be crossed. It is so exalted. To really, really feel that is a wonderful thing. And that's where the name resides. We cannot know the name outside of that plane of feeling, of consciousness, of truth. The holy name will be in a shadow form, but we are trying to chant because it is the order of our Guru. But we must try carefully, with all the instructions, with all the different things that they are telling us for our deep and careful practice. Not sloppy. You know, like if you go in the kitchen, I guess I'll just make something, throw something together, big sloppy thing. That is not at all what we do. We do everything as carefully as we possibly can. And in chanting the name, we must remember all these instructions of our gurus. We'd have to do things carefully and systematically, with systematic understanding. And it is really simple, actually. Vaishnavism the philosophy is not, it's not convoluted and complex. If you start reading the Vedas, your brain will go to pieces. It's so complicated. To try to manage within the plane of illusion takes a lot of work. Maintaining illusion is a lot of work. Right? It's a lot of work. Everybody has to think this of me and that of me, and I have to look like this, and I have to have this influence over this person because I'm going to do this and this to get them attracted to me. Guru Maharaj said, never do anything to attract anyone to you. That is hypocrisy. Don't live a hypocritical life. Live an honest life, a simple life. And so this seems, it's difficult in the sense that we are averse to the simplest things. But we need to keep hearing about this, keep finding some progress, some wind in our face, some progress, not to stay exactly as I am and then be this and that, or, you know. We have to move forward and constantly hear all these wonderful things. And guhya makyati prichati, find the person to whom you can go to discuss all these matters of my progress. And of course, in the higher plane, guhya makyatim prichati, those discussions will be very high things. But for us, it's about our progress. It's about understanding something. Some circumstances come to me. I don't know how to manage it in the line of devotion. And then so much progress will come from that question in our understanding of the overall process of devotion. So that on different levels, those things are all there. Hare Krishna, Jai Sri Sri Upadesamrita ki Jai. Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai. Hari Bol Jai, Srila Bhakti Rakha, Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. We're reading all of these huge enlightenments from Guru Maharaj on these various verses. And I've just I've chosen Guru Maharaj's direct words for all of these verses. Otherwise, it's overwhelming to hear so many things. We just hear from Guru Maharaj directly, and that's my emphasis. It's very good. These are his direct words, and we'll get great benefit from them. Jai, beautiful Sri Sri Guru Gaurachandra, Jai Giraju ki Jai. And we have to remember, we don't really see the deity, but he sees us. So Guru Maharaj said, when you come into the pujari room, you must have this idea. You are seeing me. You are my Lord. You are seeing my actions. And Gurudev is of course always there. I am being seen by you. These holes in our heads are not very competent to see anything. A couple of holes here, a couple of holes here. We're getting very little information. But the Lord has come mercifully as Arjun Vigraha, that is visible. And that visibility is also divine. So the whole of the deity is divine. He is manifesting in this form. What part of that will not be divine? So we're not of the school that says the Lord is in the deity. How is that possible? Who's going to put the Lord into something? The Lord is manifesting in this way. So all of the deity is divine. And gradually through our practice and of course hearing and all these practices of devotional life, and especially Sharanagati, we may, if the Lord really wishes to reveal himself in our hearts, he may do that. But in the meantime, we're happily doing our duty to our Guru and Gauranga and the devotees, and happily in the presence of Srimati Tulsi Devi going on. Hari Jai Saparika Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai. Yes, we should always say, include, they're here, the hot deities are in the altar. This is my omission, I'm afraid. Now it's come on. Jai Saparika Shri Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Sadgoswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Ki Jai. All the mat and temples and Grihastha temples and every temple connected deeply with Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai. And what is Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat? That is to be known. We have to discuss this. Kol Kartal Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai, Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Nitya Gaur Premanandi Hari Bo, Dandavat, Jai Gurudev Ki Jai.
Didi, I didn't see the questions of Kuo, but he has a short, brief question. What comes first, Diksha, Siksha?
Sorry?
What comes first, Diksha or Siksha? And what are these?
Diksha or Shiksha?
Yeah, he's asking a brief explanation.
Usually we are getting some instruction, we're getting some information, some understanding, and then we'll take initiation. So you could say, you could say Shiksha is for, but Shiksha will continue. Shiksha will always be there. And Diksha is initiation. But some understanding is there before one takes initiation, but that will continue, and even in a more deep way. They will always continue. Shiksha is going on. And there may be many Shiksha gurus and one Diksha guru. Thank you for that question.
Now I have another question. When we do service, and before doing service, we...
Can everybody hear you? I think that thing is here. Oh, they can hear you,
They
right?
can hear me.
Yes, sorry, Prabhu. Yeah.
When we do service, we try to meditate that we are being utilized by Gurudev, right? My question is, to what Gurudev, which one of our gurus should we offer it? To our Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru?
Well, for example, in your case, Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru are the same person. You'll get much instruction. In formality, sometimes Diksha Guru is not so much concerned, is not so much involved in giving so much instruction. But in our case, Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru is also our Shiksha Guru. But there may be many Shiksha Gurus. But generally we're offering everything to our initiating Guru, who is then. But, it's a fine point, because Shiksha Guru later on may become more prominent in our hearts. Not in a sense of one is wrong and one is better, not like that at all. But later on, the relationship with Shiksha Guru may become stronger than Diksha Guru, but that's with some development. Yeah, it's possible. But we are understanding, I mean, that's something else. But generally offering, understanding that we're offering everything in our heart to our Diksha Guru, who's also Shiksha Guru in our line, usually giving instructions also.
So like we'd be offering, so like I would be offering to Ashamaraj, Srimati Ashamaraj, and then he would offer that up to like
we always know he's the one who's doing the offerings. We're not really qualified.
Mm-hmm.
And in our temple, the picture does not have to be there on the altar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really finding that a very good thing. That meditation should always be there, meditating on your Guru, that I'm offering this to you, and under your instruction, and on your behalf, I am offering all these things to the Lord. It's a very important thing. And meditation is deep. It is a deeper connection, actually, than the eye connection. So these are nice things. Does that help you?
A little bit. But what I have...
I think I don't know the real nature of the question, maybe.
So maybe my question was coming from a binary place, like should I meditate on the Diksha Guru and the Siksha Guru? Because from my cases, I don't know personally my Diksha Guru, and also I feel each day more like kind of connected by meditating on him. I feel like I've been given an acquaintance, a proper acquaintance to the environment by different people, different devotees. From Sri Chaitanya Saraswati mission.
Yeah, we have many instructing gurus. Yeah, this is true.
So maybe I should not meditate on them all, because
of course you can do that.
Is that?
Yeah,
is that
but in the
not only
puja,
one?
I mean, it's just recommended in the puja. It is your Diksha Guru. You are meditating. He's actually not different from the Lord. He's come completely. Shiksha Guru also.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
It's like the devotees that we've met are like they're aides, they're helpers to like actually help us get to our Gurudev. Our Gurudev is the one that gave us the holy name, that gave us our japa, that gave us the ability to do service and get that actual connection. The devotees around us that we've met have just like helped us in that process.
That's
No,
one way to see that.
Not all the devotees around me. Like there's specific, like some sort of connection, some jiva devotees. So that like.
Yes, you can follow your heart in this. There's no harm in any of it.
Yeah.
If you've met a genuine Vaishnava who is helping you very much in your spiritual program, of course, why not? We will give obeisances to that person, and meditate on that, and meditate on their instruction and so many things. Definitely, there's no restriction at all in that, and this is our Vaishnava line. This is our Vaishnava line for sure. Srila Guru, I was initiated by Srila Prabhupada fully, but then when we came to Guru Maharaj in 1985, he gave us our beads and our mantra all over again, because of circumstances. So I have 2 initiating spiritual masters, and then Gurudev. I mean, Gurudev is Shiksha Guru, but he is so powerful in my life and in my heart. And I never take rest at night before offering obeisances to all 3 of them. And then through the day, when you come into the temple, you have some seva, or seva at home, or seva wherever you're going, and you're meditating on them equally. Actually, this line is a shiksha line. The line coming from Rupa Goswami is a shiksha line.
Shiksha.
But the Diksha Guru, that is also in this line. And very important, very, very important. That person who has given you the seed of the holy name, that he will be worshipped forever. So, and his instructions will also come, so that both of them are there. But there's no real difference between Shiksha and Diksha Guru in quality. And whoever is giving inspiration, you can meditate on them without any restriction. And this line, again, I'm saying, is a Shiksha line. Shiksha is deep. And Guru Maharaj explained this, because Siddhanti Maharaj, I could recognize his voice, he was asking Guru Maharaj, how come there are so many gaps in the parampara? The parampara is so long, starting from Krishna's instruction to Brahma. I mean, how long ago was that? And then this. And he said, it's like this. At night you see so many stars, right? Well, in between those stars are a lot of other stars. But they're not, the major ones are the ones you see. Or you could say in the galaxy, or the planetary, the moon, the Jupiter, and all. The really outstanding ones, that is the Shiksha line. They may not have taken initiation, but the same thing is manifesting again. The very same quality of conscious divine substance is manifesting in them fully, so they're the next person. It doesn't, the formality of Diksha was not there. So it's a Shiksha line. Where that is manifesting, and Guru Maharaj gives other analogies about this. Like, he said, where you see that thread, you take that. Wherever you see that thread, you take that. So it's not like, I'll just give one analogy, it's very late, but of Mr. Ghosh. So Ashutosh Ghosh was Aurobindo Ghosh. He was a big militant, anti-British politician. And he wanted the British out, and he was writing, this was when the big revolution happened in India and the British left India. So he was writing all these articles and stuff. But he was arrested and he ran away and was hiding. And under another name, he was publishing articles. I probably told you about this before. But it's a very good analogy. And there was a detective in the British government trying to find him, right? Bring him to justice. And he saw this article in one newspaper, and he's like, here's Mr. Ghosh. I know him. I know this is him. So he went to the newspaper and he said, who has written this article? I cannot say. If you don't say you will be arrested, then I will be arrested. He said, I know I found him. So he's saying, where you recognize that divine descent, there you put your head. Doesn't matter what the external thing is. So we're not a family line, like sometimes the family lines are there in the temples and they are automatically the guru, the son. Yeah, but that is not because he's his son. So there are lines of father, son to son becoming gurus or acharyas because it's a family thing, but that we're not interested in that. And also, I mean, even diksha, that person will not necessarily be qualified to be the next acharya. Do you know what I mean? So the acharya manifests. And often it is in diksha line, but not necessarily. If it's not there, it's not there. But it will manifest that, many things to be said on this subject, and it's a very important subject. But yes, where we see divinity, Guru Maharaj said, where you see that thread, you put your head there. Never mind any other formality. It's a great question. I don't know if I've answered it completely for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Bhima Krishna Prabhu says, Dandavat, looking forward to see you all at the Sri Govinda Mela.
Yes.
Didi, Dandavat dear devotees. Sita Didi sending her Dandavat. And then Ko is
Giving more questions.
he's saying, Haribo,
Haribol Ko.
what's the length of the class times usually, please? Haribo.
What was that?
What's the length of the classes, he's asking.
The length of the
length,
class?
yes.
Oh, it's generally an hour.
Yeah.
All right.
No formality. We'll just keep going if we're...
Spontaneous classes.
All right.
Jai Dandavat, 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 asking the blessings of all of our divine friends. Haribol.